Well, Qatar's foreign ministry spokesperson has said in a briefing that, according to the Qatari Prime Minister, negotiations between Hamas and Israel have hit a roadblock in recent days. The Prime Minister had blamed the dire humanitarian conditions in Gaza.
The past 3 weeks saw some progress between the ongoing negotiations between Hamas and Israel. However, the last 3 days saw more disputes. He reiterated that the decisive and key issues, namely the dire humanitarian situation, as well as the dual standards adopted by the international community, has been negatively impacting disputes, namely this in Gaza. He also drew a comparison between the war in Gaza and that of Ukraine.
Well, Resul, Serdar joins us now live from Doha. Resul, I know you were in that briefing. Can you just give us the latest about the humanitarian aid as well as Qatar's position about Israeli accusations?
Well, he said that in the last week there has been several Qatari military airplanes getting the humanitarian aid to El Arish in Egypt, and that aid is expected to be distributed. And of course, that depends on the ongoing negotiations, as in the last 3 days there has been lots of disputes going on around how to deliver the humanitarian aid. And also he said that there have been several Palestinians from Gaza being taken out of Gaza and taken to Doha, to Qatar, to receive the medical support. So when it comes to Israeli accusations regarding Qatar's position, or Israeli accusations that Qatar is siding with Hamas, he said that these statements from the top Israeli officials are just for the internal domestic political consumptions, and definitely they are not helpful in regard to the ongoing mediation and the negotiation efforts over there. And he also said that now, as the humanitarian crisis, disaster, catastrophe is just deepening and deepening in Gaza, the international community needs to act swiftly, because now, if they do not do that, as particularly people are being more and more gathered in Rafah, that humanitarian catastrophe is just going to turn worse and worse day by day. That's why the international community needs to act now and swiftly.
And Resul, the other topic that's been discussed, the impact of a potential Israeli offensive on Rafah. What sort of impact is that having on mediation efforts?
Well, we can see that that is actually a major concern here in the Foreign Ministry of Qatar in Doha. So we say that the spokesperson of the Foreign Ministry says that already we know that there are around 1 million people gathered in Rafah, and the humanitarian situation there is quite dire, quite catastrophic. And if Israelis, he says he doesn't want to speculate about it, but if Israelis decide to go on, particularly on a ground offensive there, that is just going to worsen the situation. And also he said that he's not going to disclose the details of the negotiations and the mediation efforts. However, if Israel conducts any attacks on Rafah, that is going to have a significant impact on the ongoing negotiation and mediation efforts. And he also has been quite critical toward the international institutions. He said there has been several UN resolutions and also the provisional measures announced by the International Court of Justice. However, Israel has ignored all of them. And he says that if these provisional measures, if these resolutions are not going to be abided by, then this is undermining the credibility of these international institutions. And more people are now questioning the credibility, the functionality, and the deterrence of these international institutions. And that's why I say that the decisions, the resolutions that are being taken by the UN and also the provisional measures announced by the International Court of Justice needs to be taken seriously. Otherwise, now what is at stake is the credibility of these international institutions.
OK, thanks so much, Resul. Resul Serdar for us there in Doha.